If you clicked on this video, I'm sure you want to make a change. What do I mean by making a change? I'm sure you've been in a very specific spot in your life where everything is not going your way. And I'm here to just tell you that that is completely normal. And when you're really trying to build something for your future, you have to be able to take the losses. You have to be able to push through all the downs. When you look at any successful person online, all you really see is the ups. And you know, it makes you think that everything comes easy. Maybe not in the moment you're thinking that, but subconsciously you're like, this guy has everything. He has it all. But 99% of these people that actually made it and made a substantial amount of money, they have gone through probably the hardest times of their life, and they still manage to pull through. If you don't have any sort of stress, pressure, or fear in your life, if you're not scared about your future, you're doing something wrong. Why is that? If you're too comfortable with where you are in your life, you really, really need to give yourself a couple weeks, a couple days to just sit down, a couple hours of the day, just sit down and, really reflect on your life. Reflect on what you want. In 2024, I had to make a decision, and it really changed my life. It may seem like a small decision to y'all, but this decision really changed the trajectory of my life. After I graduated, I was put in the position to either go to welding school or go to college. My parents really wanted me to find something that I'm able to pursue and, get that job and have that income, because obviously you want to have a plan. And, I went to look at some colleges. I wanted to play soccer. And then I really thought about it. I was like, I really don't see a future in soccer. And there's nothing I really want to study in college and university. So that got pushed aside, and I was like, okay, let me ask my parents, what should I really do? Because I really did not know what I wanted to do. I had just started trading maybe around 3 months prior to that. 4 or 5 months maybe, something like that. And it got to the point where my dad put this idea in my head about welding. Welders make pretty good money. It sounds pretty fun. It's you get to, I guess just weld all day and make probably 5 figures a month, I'd assume. Depending on if you work on the pipeline or whatever, you can probably make up to 5 figures a month. But that's busting your ass, right? What I'm trying to say is that I signed up for welding school. It's going to be around 40 grand, 30 grand for a 1 year, a 1 year program. And the day before classes started, my dad sat down and talked to me and asked me a serious question. He told me, I want you to be completely honest with me. Do you really want to go to welding school, or are you just trying to, satisfy me or make me happy. And right there and then, I had to grow up and take ownership of my own life. I know it may not seem like a big thing in that moment, but if I had made the decision to go to welding school, my life would be completely different and I would not be where I am right now. So once my dad asked me, he was like, do you really want to do this? And can you see yourself doing this in the future? I told him no. I didn't hesitate. I was like, no, this is not what I want to do. Thank God my dad is such a supportive father. I wouldn't be here without him, right? But he's always wanted me to really pursue something that I see a future in and I see potential in, right? And I know it may sound stupid, but early on into trading, I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I wasn't good at trading at that time or anything, but I had this drive in me where I was like, I'm going to make this work out. I'm going to make this work out. I do not care about anything else but making this work out. Ever since that day, I told my dad, I was like, no, I think I just want to work full time and figure out trading. And he supported my decision. He was like, okay, I'll give you a year, a gap year, after that you really have to figure it out. Ever since then, I put my head down every single day, grinded away at hours, watched so many videos, backtested hundreds of hours, and I just didn't leave I didn't leave my room for months on end. I would leave my room just here and there or whatever. But I got to the point where I got so scared of what my future was going to look like if I did not make a change. In 2025, the beginning of 2025, I had gotten my first payouts. It's like $3,000. And after that, I genuinely could not trade. I was emotional. I was emotionally unstable, to be honest. I couldn't manage any of my emotions. I'd take a loss and not be able to reflect on it. I'd just cry. I put a hole in the wall at one point because I lost so much bread in one day. Like I mentioned in the last video, it was like $7,000. And I was genuinely scared for myself. I did not know where my life was going to go if I continued on this path. From there, I ended up taking a break because I really couldn't take any of the losses anymore. And I came back. And I told myself I was going to give it my all. Gave it my all. Boom. Made the change. What was the change? It was a lot simpler than you think. It was just stop doing the stupid same little mistakes that I did every single day. After that, I was given the opportunity to move out. Well, not given. I could have moved out a while ago, I guess. But I talked to one of my buddies, and he had been living on his own for a minute. And he told me, he was like, because I had been talking about moving out for literally for so long. And, I've always wanted to really just take care of myself. And, sorry, I'm saying and a lot. But I've always really wanted to just take care of myself. do good for myself. I never wanted to really rely on anybody. That's just how I am as a person. And the only way to really do that is by just moving out and figuring shit out on your own. And ever since I moved out, I have learned so much about myself. I've learned how I manage stress. You know, the first month I moved out, I was super, super stressed every single day. Let me make sure this camera's good. I was very, very stressed every single day. And it was just the fear. It was the fear of not making it work out. You know, because I haven't sold a course or anything. I've just been trading full time for the past like 4 months. And it's been difficult. But you really can't make any excuses to why you are not where you want to be. Just because you're stressed, scared, or fearful, there's only two ways to really look at it. You can, stress and cry about it and feel horrible about yourself and make bad decisions because you're stressed or scared or whatever. Or maybe you're not stressed. Or maybe you're not scared about your future. And that's when there's an actual problem. I think that's worse than being stressed. It's when you are in the most comfortable position you can really be. When you're comfortable, you're not worried about a lot of things. You're worried about the wrong things and you probably have the wrong priorities. And I've had months on end, when I was with my parents and maybe weeks here being on my own, I've had times where I've caught myself being comfortable. And maybe in these past 2 weeks, I actually have been feeling a little bit comfortable. And it's fine. It's not fine that you're comfortable. You can slack off a little bit. You can enjoy yourself. You don't want to fucking work till you kill yourself. But you have to be able to recognize where you are in your life and if you really need to make a change or not. If you know you need to make a change, that's the first step. Second step is actually making the change. Okay? And when I say being comfortable is probably the worst thing that you can do because you can't really make much progress when you're comfortable because you're still doing the same bullshit every single day. You're not progressing at all. And it's because you're not thinking about your future. You're not scared about your future. You're not stressed about anything. You have everything, right? And for some people, you can have everything and still be stressed and still be scared about your future and still want to take action towards your future. Everyone's different. But for me, I wanted to put myself in a position where I had to make it work out. And for me, that was moving out, I did get comfortable when I was making money at my parents' house. I was making like 15, 20 grand a month, and it was good. But I started to get comfortable. And I was like, okay, well, I do want to move out, but I'm very scared to move out. And in that moment, when you're scared, you need to take that leap and just fucking do it. There's no bad outcome with what can happen when you're scared. For the most part, obviously, jumping from a plane, obviously there can be bad outcome. Fucking parachute stops and doesn't work. But I'm saying when there's something that you really want to do and really want to pursue, there's literally nothing. There's nothing bad that can really happen if you really look at it. The only thing that can happen is you fail. And what's worse than failing is not trying. That's worse than failing, is not taking that leap of faith and not trying. Just being a fucking bitch and not trying. That's the worst thing you can fucking do. And that actually makes me emotional because, you know, I know a lot of people that are stuck in some spots in their life where I know they really want something, but I just see them and they're just like half-assing and not trying. And I'm not saying I'm fucking perfect. I'm not saying I'm the hardest worker ever, but I try. And that's all you can really do. That's all you have. If you're not trying, what the fuck are you doing with your life? You're doing nothing. You know, you're just living. You know, obviously, I still enjoy myself. I have a motorcycle. I go enjoy myself with that. I still have friends. I go hang out with them. I eat good food, you know. Obviously, I still enjoy myself. But outside of those things where you're not enjoying your life, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just take a second and really think about it. What else is there to life if you're not doing what you want and pursuing what you want? Yes, it's going to be fucking hard pursuing what you want. It's going to be fucking terrible not being able to figure something out, but you can figure it out. You can figure it out if you really try and if you really look deep into yourself and try. All I ask from you, if you're watching this video, is to really just look at yourself and think about what future do you want for yourself? What future do you want for yourself? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I'm not telling you to, you know, plan your life out for 5 years or whatever, but I'm telling you, if you do exactly what you're doing right now, every single day of your life, where do you think you would end up? That's all I'm asking. If you think that you'd end up in a bad spot or not where you want to be, and you know you need to make a change. So I just want you to try. Just give it a fucking try. Whatever it is in your mind, I don't give a fuck about trading. I don't give a fuck about any of this fucking bullshit. If you want to go be the best fucking soccer player or whatever, all I want you to do is fucking try and don't look back. You know, growing up in high school, all your teachers are like, you need a backup plan, you need this, you need that. I guess you can say you need a backup plan, whatever. But do you really believe in yourself if you do? I'm not saying you don't have you have to have a backup plan or you don't have to have a backup plan. I'm just saying, like, you know, your teachers put this in your mind where